Really? Zombies 3? Really? Look. The Disney Channel is terrible. Like, they haven't had a good movie since 2013. And as far as their shows go, I don't know, 2015? Like, I of course don't watch the Disney Channel anymore. Why would I? I'm 19 fucking years old. I have no reason to watch the Disney Channel. I fell out of watching the Disney Channel by, like, age 13, 14-ish, maybe a little younger than that. And I've, of course, reviewed Disney Channel original movies on here already. I reviewed Under Wraps, which was awful. And I reviewed a few Disney Channel movies. I think maybe only one. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Point is, the Disney Channel is atrocious. All of their films since 2013 have been terrible. Like, and they've tried an assortment of movies. They tried their Descendants trilogy, which was terrible and had a really shitty finale. They tried a remake of Adventures in Babysitting, which I still haven't seen and looks like crap. They tried a remake of one of their own movies, and they made a glorified shot-for-shot remake. And they've tried ripping off their own properties multiple times, to no avail. And several years after the zombie craze ended, they decided to release a musical called Zombies. And it was awful. Everything about it was terrible. And if you saw my What the Hell Happened, or what was the title of it? It was like, What Happened to Disney in 2020 video, you'll know that I did not watch Zombies 2. Because I didn't like the first one, second one looked just as stupid, and they were throwing in the werewolf trend. Something else that died many years ago for good reason. But now we have this third one. And I wasn't going to watch this, especially since I didn't see the second one, so it's like, what's the point? But what caught my attention, because I knew it was coming out, but what caught my attention was the fact that it was a Disney Plus release. Now, it's of course airing on the Disney Channel constantly right now. It's of course taking up time slots like crazy, because it's being aired on there. But it struck me as odd that it was a Disney Plus release instead of a Disney Channel release. That kind of caught my attention. And the trailer looked awful. Like, they were throwing in aliens, really. And of course the aliens are just people, they're just humans with blue hair, as opposed to the zombies with green hair. God, at least the werewolves look kind of like werewolves. The zombies, they just did the green hair, and when they Hulk out, essentially, they zombie out. They did some really bad effects in the first one. This one is like, it just looked stupid. It looked so stupid. And I was actually anticipating, and recently I've been keep going, I'm like, just kind of estimating, what do I think is going to be the top 10? I kind of anticipated this would make the top 10. Honestly, I don't think it was that bad. Don't get me wrong. Ooh, what happened to my voice there? Don't get me wrong, the movie sucks. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Now, nothing in this movie makes sense, so I'm going to get that right off the bat. Nothing in this movie makes sense. So, it's already a bad movie. It's poorly written, it's like, the directing isn't too bad, I guess, but it's like everything in this movie is cursed to be just below decent. Like, there are some things that are pretty decent in this movie. Like, I will give major credit to the choreographers. The choreography during the dance sequences is really appealing to watch. It's a lot of fun. And I'll give the two lead actors, Milo Manheim, I think that's how you say it, and Meg Donnelly. They're trying. They're not great, but they're not terrible. And I think that's due to the directing. I don't know how much blame I can put on these two actors, because they're given a terrible script. But I'm wondering if they had a better script, how good they could do, because the actors in this movie do actually have legit chemistry. They do, and they should. This is their third go-round. But I can tell from the very first scene, this so badly wants to be High School Musical 3. Because Descendants 3 was terrible. Like, the first one, I give a little leeway. It's bad, but I give it some leeway. It's got good stuff in it, but it's just, like, everything in it is fine except for the script. But the script is so bad that it's like The Dark Knight Rises. Everything in the movie is fine except for the script. And then Descendants 2 is a little better. It actually has a better story and actually has a decent villain. But they pissed it away with a really shitty third act and a lot of nonsensical choices. And then the third movie was just shit from start to finish. So, and this one is kind of, I don't know, High School Musical 3 was great. I'm a huge fan of High School Musical movies. They were, like, my childhood movies, and I still really like them even as an adult. And the third one, for me, is easily the best. But the third Descendants ended up being easily the worst. And now, so I don't know if I can say this one is the best one. Like, it's definitely better than the first one. I didn't see the second one, so I don't know if it's better than that one. I have a hard time believing it's worse. I have a hard time believing it, I have a hard time believing it's worse, because it just looked so bad. But there are some things in this that aren't that bad. Like I said, the choreography is really good, and honestly, the visual effects I thought were going to look terrible. But I don't know if they got a bigger budget because it was a Disney Plus release, but the effects, they don't look great, but they don't look that bad, actually. Like, compare this to Secret Society of Second-Born Royals, which is some of the worst CGI I've ever seen. The effects don't look too bad. I thought they were just going to be atrocious because Disney Channel is known for shitty CGI. But no, it was actually some halfway decent effects. I'm actually legitimately impressed. And the acting, again, for the most part, is not bad. Like, some of it's bland, some of it's a bit over the top. The dude who plays Bucky, I don't know if I can blame the actor or the script and direction he's given, but he is annoying as hell. And I know he's kind of supposed to be, but he was a little funny in the first movie, I think, if I remember correctly. But he got worse in this movie. He has less screen time, thank God. But, every time he was on screen, I just wanted to punch him in the face with an Iron Man suit. Good God. And again, I don't know if I can blame the actor or if it's the writing and direction he's given, but I obviously hate the character. And speaking of characters, most of them are pretty forgettable. Like, there's a lot of characters in this movie. Like, emphasis on a lot. Like, the two leads are fine, I guess. The aliens are fine, I guess. The werewolves are actually kind of cool characters, I'm not gonna lie. They're not the best written, but they are kind of cool characters, and I do like the motivation they have, basically protecting because basically their motivation throughout the entire thing is protecting was essentially their life source. So they have a lot better of a motivation. The aliens have one where they're trying to find a utopia, which is basically, which I guess is self-explanatory, and the coordinates are somewhere in Seabrook, I guess. Oh man, this leads to one of the worst twists in movie history. Okay, so what they need to find, apparently, is the most precious thing in Seabrook, and obviously we know what they're trying to do, because Zed, the zombie main character, mentions that the Moonstone is the most precious thing there. But I knew for a fact, but I'm like, okay, I thought it was going to be, I thought that's actually what it was going to be. I had kind of the back of my mind, I'm like, they might pull something here. They did pull something to where the coordinates were not there. And if they're like, it's not here, well, what is the most precious thing here? And I remember pausing the movie and doing this, because I knew exactly where it was going. Because I saw in the trailer, like, one of the big points of the trailer was Addison getting beamed up. She was the coordinates. I figured that out immediately. They tried to throw you for a loop to where, oh no, it's the cheerleading trophy for God knows what reason. Because apparently cheerleading is like the most precious thing in Seabrook for some reason. I don't get why. I'm not knocking any cheerleaders. My sister used to be one, but... Really? And it's like, it's not fooling me. I know where it's going with this, especially since once they got the trophy and were able to scan their coordinates, there was still 20 minutes of the movie left. So I'm like, you're not fooling me. I know what you're up to. And it's exactly what it was. Addison was the key because she's half alien. This is one of the stupidest twists I've ever seen because it was never set up ahead of time. Like, there was no indication throughout the first two movies that she could be extraterrestrial. This, like, broke my brain. I thought it was just gonna be the twist of, oh, she's the most precious thing in Seabrook. It's like, no, that's not even it. Well, it kinda is, but it's not it that she's half alien. Because, like, the person who's sending the message happens to be her grandmother. This is dumb as fuck. And I guess I should talk about the song since this is a musical. There were several times I forgot it was a musical until a music number showed up. I'm like, oh yeah, right, this is a musical. Let's see. The opening number, when the aliens first show up, isn't terrible. It's a little catchy, but being catchy and being good are two separate things. I don't think it was a great song, but it was fine for what it was. The song with the wolves where they realize the force field around their moonstone has been taken down, and they're like hunting for the people who took it down, who were trying to steal it, because it's essentially their life force. I think that's how it was mentioned. It's a decent idea for a song, and the song itself was okay, I think. But the problem is they film it like a music video, even to the point of the characters singing directly to the camera. I know breaking the fourth wall is a common theme throughout this, but it was usually just Zed and Addison. This time they are singing full onto the camera like it's a music video, and that really took me out of the scene. The duet between Zed and Addison was fine, I guess. The song that Zed has before his college interview, that one was actually pretty catchy. I actually didn't mind that song too much. And the reprise he has during the interview was actually a nice scene. I actually really liked that scene. What else? The song Addison has during the cheer competition was fine, but pretty forgettable, and that's the same thing I could say for the final number. It's like, the songs are just kind of, they weren't terrible. I don't remember the songs in the first one being terrible, but I don't remember them leaving a big impact on me. The ones in here, they're not bad. I could see myself maybe listening to one or two of them again, but not as much as, like, the High School Musical movies, where I can listen to those songs all day. These ones I could maybe go over to YouTube and listen to a couple of the songs on YouTube a couple of times, but not much more than that. And again, the dancing is incredibly good. I am really impressed, and this time they didn't, and unlike the Descendants movies, they didn't have one of their lead actors not be that great of a dancer, so they had to tone it down. This one, they got actors who are good dancers. Because the Descendants movies, you had Boo Boo Stewart, Cameron Boyce, and Sophia Carson, who were great dancers. Then you had Dove Cameron, who was not exactly the best dancer on the planet, and even she knew that. They had to kind of tone the dancing down because she wasn't able to keep up. This one, they didn't have to do that. I'm guessing not, because all the dancing is incredibly good. And it wouldn't be Disney without their trademark LGBT pandering, because they tried to force a relationship between a couple of characters in the last 5 minutes of the movie. And I do mean force, like, not even well forced. Like, these characters exchanged maybe a couple of lines of dialogue, and they were mostly threats or warnings towards one another. So that's not how you build a relationship, and they don't other than that, they don't have any screen time whatsoever. Other than the last few minutes, they try to force it and it doesn't work. So, I was ready to give this movie a thumbs up on, hey, at least you didn't have an agenda until you shoved it in the last few minutes. Good job, dicks. But this movie is just, again, it's a lot like Paws of Fury. It's just nothing. But at least, unlike Paws of Fury, it had some legitimately good aspects to it. The dancing was good. The special effects actually didn't look that bad. I hate the motion comics style that they do for the opening and ending because those would have required bigger budgets and they didn't actually have any budgets, but the actual effects they had didn't look that bad. And like I said, the dancing was good. Some of the songs were pretty catchy and the acting mostly was fine, but this script is just so stupid. So that's all I got for Zombies 3. I'm giving this a C-, I guess. Like, it's just not lame enough to go any lower, but it's not shitty enough to hate, but it's not good enough to like either. That's the problem. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm not even going to ask if you guys are going to see this. I don't think anybody on this channel has actually watched the Zombies movies. If you have, let me know, and let me know what you think. And yeah, I still got a lot more movies to catch up on, so I will probably be doing a 3-way film face-off between this, High School Musical 3, and Descendants 3, and I think we all know who I'm gonna pick, who I want as the winner, and who most people probably want as the winner. So I'll see you all in my next review, because I got a lot more movies to catch up on.